ourselves in the dark, playing with our lives and our minds and our hearts. We've been living in the matrix, losing our direction. Evil algorithms altering all our perception.
The algorithms altering our perception, they're trying to confuse us. I'm not sure what's going on with Chris's eyes there, but he's perhaps a little confused or a little crazy, driven crazy by these algorithms. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Old Men in Chairs. You see on your screen a scene from Webby's most recent video, Back on My BS. He's talking about how he's going to vote for Trump this time, but guess what? I voted for him last time too. So I think he's referring to the 2020 election then. Maybe you wonder about his evolution politically, because if you go back to the earlier Raw Thoughts, he's definitely more on the liberal side of the aisle, attacking Republicans more viciously than Democrats for the first three at least. And then in Raw Thoughts 4, which came out in October 2020, you can kind of see he's starting to doubt whether he's been wrong all along about the Democrat Party. So I thought it might be fun to go back and react to Raw Thoughts 4. It was only a month before the election, or actually only a couple weeks before the election, and apparently he did eventually decide to vote for Trump, although it would be hard to tell from watching Raw Thoughts 4 that that's what he was going to do. That type of evolution from Democrat to Trumper is something we've seen an awful lot of in the last 4 years, especially, most notably, of course, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard. All these people were formerly Democrats and are now on the Trump train. So I think Chris was maybe ahead of the curve on this, as he did with so many other things. So here we are, a typical American family, sitting down to watch a little television, and all of a sudden, Chris takes over the TV broadcast.
Yeah, I don't want to do it, but I feel like I got to. Good morning, America. Time to get to waking up. We've never all at once been confronted with so much crazy stuff. We should be able to find the truth, but they make it tough. You think the news would tell you, but most of that they've been making up. For anyone who's good, there's the John Wilkes Booth. All the Jedi's lying dead while the Sith grow roots.
Can somebody tell me what the symbol is on that hat? I don't recognize that. Obviously, this woman with the American flag on her shirt is a conservative woman. Looks like a working class husband. And of course, he was right on there when he said that you can't trust the news, they make it all up. That's been obvious for many, many years.
Who's good? There's the John Wilkes Booth. All the Jedi's lying dead while the Sith grow roots. And if you try to speak the truth, they'll Anthony Bourdain you, hang you, and use suicide to explain you. We don't all need to agree, but how can you not see? There's an elite, and they fucking everyone like you and me. That ain't race, color, or creed, it's predatory greed. And if we don't unite, this might not be the land of the free for much longer. Rights getting stripped real fast while we fight each other, cause they want us just like that. We so divided by race, religion, color, and class. Now it's who doesn't motherfucking wear a mask. And the virus is real, but it's seeming like they planned it, the way they're using it to their political advantage.
And we're still divided by who does and doesn't wear a mask. And masks have not gone away. Here we are 4 years later, and there's still people walking through the grocery stores with masks, and walking down the street with masks, and even driving their cars with masks. When I see that, I think one of two things. Either those people are actually sick with COVID, and they're trying to protect others, which is admirable. Or they're sick in the head, and they're afraid of getting COVID in situations where it's very unlikely to be transmitted. Take your pick. I think the majority fall into the latter category. But I do appreciate those who don't want to infect others, but still want to be able to go outside and interact. So we can't criticize them. But did they use the virus for political advantage? Does the Pope shit in the woods?
Real, but it's seeming like they planned it, the way they're using it to their political advantage. I don't claim to have the answers, but I'm telling you what, Bill Gates is mad sus, sketchy as fuck. 2020 been some shit, fucking life got crazy. Bunch of trolls looking for someone to type at angry.
One thing I noticed between the red bikini girls and the blue bikini girls is that the red girls have larger assets. These two is a good example. The blonde really fills out her bikini, while the blue girl is a little less, whatever word you want to use, stacked. Personally, as a matter of personal preference, I'm not so much with the big tit brigade. I like a girl with just enough, more than a handful of waist, you know? I know a lot of guys go for that.
Fucking life got crazy. Bunch of trolls looking for someone to type at angry. Y'all just hate on everybody. It's just like that lately. I got an auntie named Karen. She's a nice ass lady. And I thought I was a liberal for most of my life. But holy Christ, you fucking lefties have been colder than ice. And I can't believe I'm saying it. Honestly, I hate this shit, but I got more in common with Trump supporters and Reagan.
Well, there it is right there. He thought he was a liberal, but lately these progressives have been cold as ice. And you got to think back to the time, October 2020. That was the height of the lockdowns, the hysteria. I live in New York. We had Andrew Cuomo going crazy with the regulations, trying to shut down every business. Not every business. You know, Walmart was allowed to stay open. The big grocery stores could stay open. And of course the liquor stores, because we can't close the liquor stores. But all little small businesses, you know, they had to prove that they were somehow essential. And I have a print shop, and I said, screw you. I'm essential. I'm essential to my own survival. And I'd never shut down. And I was waiting for them to come and try to shut me down because I wasn't going to go quietly. But in the middle of all that, and especially in the blue states, they were cold as ice. And in California, maybe the worst case, you know, chasing people off the beaches, chasing people that are out surfing. How is that a danger to anybody? Closing down playgrounds, taking the hoops off baskets. I mean, just insanity. I was already conservative, but you can see how all that just kind of turned Chris. And he said, hey, I thought I was a liberal, but now I'm agreeing more with Trump and Reagan? That's a big switch.
Saying it, honestly, I hate this shit, but I got more in common with Trump supporters and Reagan. It's them fake woke bums, canceling everyone. We say one thing y'all don't like and our fucking career's done. No more open dialogue or conversation at all. No debate or discussion, what can I say? I'm appalled.
I think the censorship is probably the wedge that drove the most people away from the Democratic Party. The control of the media and the shadow banning and the outright censoring, control of the search engines to only allow certain types of information to be seen, the violation of the First Amendment by the government ordering the social media companies to cancel people, to censor people, to put them in Facebook jail. I think I was in Facebook jail about 7 times in 2020. And then in October 2020 is when they took down my group. I had a Free Livingston County group that I was the administrator. I didn't start the group, but I was the administrator of it. In October 2020, one day I got up and it was gone. And I forget how many members we had. It was hundreds, maybe 1,000. I don't recall. That's what they did back in those days. If they didn't like what you were saying, they just got rid of you. The green paint here, I guess, represents money. That's the one thing that the red and the blue have in common, what we call the uniparty. They all love money. And so they eventually get together and pass legislation that they can both profit by. And that's what holds them all together is greed.
Dialogue or conversation at all. No debate or discussion, what can I say? I'm appalled. Cause if we're not allowed to talk or fucking have an opinion without you sensitive bitches enforcing public crucifixions, then we're all fucked. So this is me speaking my piece. Shit, I would go down shooting for my freedom of speech. And that's the first 2 amendments loaded in one clip, aiming at this broke political system we're stuck with. They got all our phones tapped, so let them listen to this. Y'all recording? Suck my motherfucking dick, bitch.
Raw thoughts. He used that line, suck my dick here. He used it to start in the introduction to Raw Thoughts 5, and he used it again in the most recent Back on My BS, which I'm calling Raw Thoughts 7 because it all seems to be related. In the most recent one, he said that his pronouns were fuck you and suck my dick. That's a favorite expression of his.
Tap, so let them listen to this. Y'all recording? Suck my motherfucking dick, bitch. Here we go again. Here we go again. Wrong thoughts. Here we go again. Here we go again. Wrong thoughts. Here we go again. Here we go again. These motherfucking wrong thoughts. Here we go again. Here we go again. Line them up. of Joe Biden. You dementia-ridden, geriatric, evil puppet, piece of dog shit, old lying son of a bitch.
Wow. I guess he didn't much care for Biden. This was a tradition that he started with the Raw Thoughts, Line 'em Up, where he gave little thumbnail sketches of politicians. And of course, famously in Raw Thoughts 5, he did it again. One of his favorite targets has always been Ted Cruz. For some reason, he just thought Ted Cruz was horrible. But yet, then he gets to Raw Thoughts 5 and he said, you know, I gotta defend Ted Cruz because he stands for freedom of speech, which I need for my art. That was really the lever, I think, that moved Chris and a lot of artists towards the Trump side of the aisle. The Democrats became so crazy for trying to control thoughts and speech, and they don't like raw thoughts. They don't like any thoughts that haven't been processed through a blender.
Old lying son of a bitch. Do y'all really think he's the answer? They gotta pump him full of drugs so he can speak on a camera. And this dumb boomer Chuck Schumer calling the shots. Saw him pull up just the other day and park in the lot. Went to say hi and realized that this guy is such a fucking pussy that he wore a fucking N95 while he drives. And Pelosi, that evil golden girl with her cronies, Ilhan Omar and AOC, all of you can blow me, and Kamala Harris too. I'll run a train on the whole fucking crew. No, Scott Wiener, not including you. Weird shit going on, I mean, Epstein just lame, missing kids, adrenochrome, I don't know. I'm just saying, I just keep my shit 100%. So if you doubt me, you must be getting your statistics from Anthony Fauci.
If you doubt me, you must be getting your statistics from Anthony Fauci. That's quite a dig there in 2020. They haven't even gotten to the jab yet. The jab was still in development. But already he smells a rat. And we all smelled a rat. But I remember saying so even earlier than this in the summer of 2020 and saying Anthony Fauci's a liar and he should be fired. Oh my God, you think I criticized Mother Teresa? He was the answer. He was the man who was going to save us all. I think that's the reason that Trump didn't fire him, because politically it would have created a firestorm. He'd have been well ahead if he had back in 2020 and gotten somebody in there with a little more common sense and not a lying bastard. Chris was onto it.
100%. So if you doubt me, you must be getting your statistics from Anthony Fauci. And Bernie sold out. He supported Joe and Hillary after they stole the primary from him. You must be kidding me, Bernie. I used to fuck with you. Where's your fucking integrity? Can't go from standing for something to standing with the enemy.
Well, fuck you.
Fuck you, Chris. I think that's the key moment right there. It really explains his evolution. He was a Bernie bro. He thought Bernie was the answer. And he went from being a Bernie bro in 2016 to voting for Trump in 2020 and then outwardly praising Trump in 2024. That's covering a lot of ground. That's going from being a socialist to a very strong capitalist. But the thing about Chris is the honesty. He's not afraid to say, hey, I may have screwed up. I may have been wrong. I think differently now. I've changed my view. And that's something that's exceedingly rare, I think, in people, and especially in popular entertainers, can admit when they're wrong and change their course. Kudos to Chris on this.
Where's your fucking integrity? Can't go from standing for something to standing with the enemy.
Well, fuck you, Chris.
Now that's enough of the blue. Let's get to aiming at the red. Someone bring in Ted Cruz. You're just so damn punchable. Borderline fully unlovable. Even your daughter avoids hugging you. Who else? Mike Pence, who's obsessed with his wife. So I consensually had sex with her twice the other night. Told me she ain't had the dick in weeks. So I fucked her on your pile of Bibles, Mike. She really is a religious freak.
That is just completely inappropriate.
Mitch McConnell, you are the literal definition of not having a face for television. Please, wear a mask, keep that fucking shit hidden. You look like a guy who shouldn't be in the presence of children.
Wait, did someone say children?
Easy does it, Bill. You and Hillary chill. Justice is coming for you still. Because one day, the world will see the truth. That's a bet. I just hope I'm here to see it and you ain't murdered me yet.
And of course, that dovetails with the fact that in the most recent video, he talks about being suicided by Bill and Hillary. The thing about Chris is so wonderful. He takes on all the sacred cows. He's not afraid to tell it like he sees it. You know, there's not a politically correct bone in his body. And you gotta love him for that.
And see, then there's Donald Trump. This motherfucker been on one. A chance to say the right thing, he goes and says the wrong one. When there's a chance to unite us, he instead divides us even more with the stupid shit that he says. And I can't stand it. His environmental policy makes George fucking W look like he's Captain Planet. rolling regulations back, setting back clean air and water, all to put big business on a better track.
That seems to be his main criticism of Trump at the time. One, that he says stupid stuff. Well, even his own supporters would wish sometimes that he left some things unsaid, especially in the current race. There's no mileage to be gained by pointing out that Kamala is a very low IQ person. His supporters can say it. We know it. We see the evidence. But he shouldn't lower himself to that level. It's just going to antagonize women who may be on the borderline. So yeah, Trump says stupid shit sometimes, and we wish he wouldn't. But it is what it is. But then also he gets into the environmental policy because Chris is a big believer in saving the planet. He thought that, Trump was going to be selling out to big business. And I don't really think that that's an accurate perception. He's just resisting the people that are using climate change to try to gain control of the government of the world and control the activities of people. Trump comes down on the side of freedom from the Paris Accords, freedom from these international treaties, because actually the United States is a world leader practically in cleaning up the environment. We've made tremendous strides, and it's a lot of the other countries, China and India in particular, that are creating like 80% of the pollution on the planet. We've done our bit, but that was the sticking point apparently. But then a couple weeks later, he did vote for Trump, so I guess he overlooked that one issue.
Clean air and water, all to put big business on a better track. While the animals suffer, so do we. The rich save a little money while they poison you and me. So geez, is he the lesser or greater of two evils? Or is he really trying to drain the swamp and help the people? Ask me, I don't even fucking know anymore. I feel like every politician's just a pawn on the board, Trump and Biden alike. So until I stand corrected, I'll be saying fuck every politician that's been elected. And the truth hurts, but fuck it, man, ignorance is worse. Even Google's in on it. I can't trust my own search. They treat us like the sheep, they're the wolves in the dark, playing with our lives and our minds and our hearts. We've been living in the matrix, losing our direction. Evil algorithms altering all our perceptions. So what the fuck do I know? And what the fuck do you? Should we all just confused trying to find what's true?
The algorithms altering our perception. The searches can't be trusted. They're trying to confuse us. I'm not sure what's going on with Chris's eyes there, but he's perhaps a little confused or a little crazy, driven crazy by these algorithms.
I know, and what the fuck do you? Should we all just confused trying to find what's true? So I never say I'm right about everything that I said. Not telling you to agree, don't really want people dead. But fuck, this shit been so messed up for so long, and my only way to process it is put it in a song. Cause all I got some paper with a pen and mic, and my fucking First Amendment right. Tell them again like, all I got some paper with a pen and mic, and my fucking First Amendment right.
Well, fuck. I used to write columns for my newspaper. What I discovered, by writing it down, you figure out how you actually feel about things. And I think Chris has that same feeling with his songs, his raw thoughts. He has to get his raw thoughts out there so that he can really understand how he actually feels. And obviously in the process of creating this video, I think he did finally come to the realization that the lesser of the two evils was Trump. And he did eventually vote for Trump, even though you wouldn't possibly have known it from watching this, because he said, screw all the politicians. It was almost like he wasn't going to vote at that point, a couple weeks before the election. But then he did eventually vote, and apparently, according to him, he did vote for Trump. I think he worked through these raw thoughts and came to that conclusion.
You have 2 new messages.
Hey, Chris, it's Joe Biden. Listen, man, I wanted to, wait, who did I call again? Is anyone there? Hello? Jill? Aw, damn it, Jill, how do I use this stupid phone?
Next message.
Hey, Chris, Trump here. Donald Trump, the president. Anyways, I heard your song. Terrible stuff. Really terrible. I think it's tremendously important that I remind you that I, Donald Trump, am probably, most likely, but definitely probably, the best president we've ever had in this country. And you're just a loser rapper recording songs in his basement. Okay? Now, I will admit, the line about having sex with Pence's wife was actually pretty funny, though. Sir, what the fuck? Oh, sorry, Mike. I forgot you were standing right next to me. Anyways, God bless America. My America. Raw thoughts, motherfucker.
It was all there, but it was somewhat hidden, the evolution of his thought. In retrospect, we can see how it happened. I just thought it would be fun to take another look at this 4 years later and see how he and the whole world has evolved. It's one of his better tracks for sure. He nails a lot of things that were going wrong with our country in 2020. And I was leading the charge too. I was screaming my head off about the lockdowns in particular and what it was going to do to people, do to small business, unemployment, create drug abuse, violence, destroy our society, really. These pointy-headed academics and bureaucrats who thought, well, we can stop this spread of COVID by locking everybody up and forcing everybody to wear masks and forcing everyone to social distance. It never worked. COVID went through the population to the point where probably close to 90% of the people got it anyway. For the younger folks, it wasn't a death sentence. There was no reason to fear it for them, for children and college-age kids. No. If people were in poor health and they were a little older, it could be a serious illness for some. It was a total overreaction. And Chris was sensing that right here in October 2020.